What's up, guys? It's Rochelle Tannen. It's March 9th, 2024. It's 1:19 p.m. and we are having storms here in Philadelphia left and right. It's raining. It's one of those days. And I'm behind on my videos, so I'll probably do quite a few this weekend. Now, switching gears off these celebrities, because I like to talk about celebrities, is junk food for the mind and it has social implications. But now it's time to switch gears. I want to talk about something that has been going on here in Philadelphia in the last couple weeks. In the last 2 weeks here in Philly, we've had four separate bus shootings. Move this. We've had four separate bus shootings on our public transit. Our public transit's name is Septa, which shout out to Septa because I love Septa because they get you anywhere you need to go for $2.50. And I wouldn't own a car here in Philadelphia because of parking and crazy drivers. But that's another story. We've had four shootings on city buses involving teenagers. One young man was 16, got shot 9 times by his peers at a bus stop. I believe an old lady got killed on a bus in one of these shootings. I was walking last night. I had to run to the store late, and this black woman comes up to me and wants to start talking about kids and all this other shit. And I told her I don't have kids, and she switched and said, well, it takes a village. Let me tell you niggas something. I don't want to hear it. I don't want to hear about the kids. I don't want to hear about Trump. I don't want to hear about nothing you niggas is doing. And I'm going to tell you why. These kids that are shooting up these buses that are 16, 17 now, you motherfuckers were warned 20 years ago, you black people, that this was coming. And it's going to get worse. You black people, because as you've told me, black people like me, we're self-haters, we're white, we're this and that and the third. Okay? You got a generation of young people who don't have a traditional nuclear unit, because you guys have sold that off, and you sold this idea that being a baby mama, baby daddy is all the rage and the right thing to do. So most of these young men haven't grown up with a father. A lot of their mothers are loose and disgusting, with kids by several different men, kids that they don't mind bringing any Tom, Dick, and Harpo to their house. So the kids have 50 or 60 father figures before they're 18 years old. And in the last few years, since the Trump presidency, the police and their role has been distorted. Law enforcement shouldn't be the head to your house. Your man, your husband should be the head to your house. Law enforcement is what it's always been. It should be the end result, not the beginning. The police don't send for a lot of these young people. A lot of you baby mamas and baby daddies have given them up to the police. Now you're dealing with a generation of people, courtesy of BLM and all those movements in the last several years, they don't think they have to listen to anyone, and they think they can do whatever they want. On top of the fact, I know I said back in about 2008, listen, the smartphone is nothing but a small TV, and much like my parents, God rest their soul, used to tell us we ain't gonna sit in front of the boob tube all day. My grandparents used to say that too. You guys took another road. I remember coming to Philly in 2010, 2011, and seeing people curse out their kids because they were on their phones with their backs to their kids. I remember everyone telling me how much smarter these kids are. And I remember saying back in those years, man, you shouldn't have your kid in front of a screen, an illuminated screen so much. It's not going to end well. Y'all didn't believe me. Then couple that, well, a lot of these young people, they think they're famous just because they have Instagram pages and all this other stuff, which couldn't be farther from the truth. None of these people are famous. It's like Melissa Ford said. And if you don't know who Melissa Ford is, go look her up. The idea and concept of fame has been bastardized, her word, not mine, and watered down. Now we got these young people who think they're famous because there's a camera in their face, and there's been a camera in their face since they were babies. So not only do they not understand discretion, they don't understand discipline and structure, and some things should be kept private and not online. So for them to shoot up a bus and record it, it's nothing. They just think it's the times. They think it's normal. It's not normal. And you black people with your kids, don't come talking to me about a village. Because when I did care, because now I don't care. When I did care, I got called everything but a woman of God. Same thing with some males I've met over the years that see what's going on. So a lot of you late 70s, 80s, 90s niggas now, y'all gonna have to eat this. You can't blame our parents because our parents are in their 60s now, late 50s. Can't blame them. Because even some of the ones that have recovered or had crack addictions of the past, they even tried to tell you that the way you were raising your kids is bullshit. I've seen it. And a lot of you get the people my age, around my age, you're still trying to guilt your parents for shit they did to you in the 80s and 90s. Now, while y'all are doing that, y'all haven't been raising your kids. And this is what we get. A bunch of young men who don't know how to handle their emotions. They don't know how to resolve conflict without picking up a gun. These young men in this city, and I know it's not just Philadelphia, they can pick up a gun easy. But a lot of these young people, and male and female, can't even read to their grade level. And you niggas act like that shit's not a problem. And will call another black person, call their blackness into question when you got 5 or 6 baby daddies or baby mamas and shit. And with you baby daddies, y'all don't even live with your kids. Y'all don't know what the fuck they doing. Because you bucks, as I called you in one video, you seem to think it's going to end well for you. I absolutely love the internet and the way they talk about us midlife women that don't have kids. You talk about midlife women that do have kids. Y'all talk as if women are going to be the only ones who end up alone. Let me tell you, late 1970s, 80s nigga something. You're going to end up alone. Your kids are going to hate you. And unlike women, to our credit, if we're alone or not, at least we won't be limp. A lot of y'all are going to be alone, sick, and limp. Give it a good another 10, 20 years. And again, your children are going to hate you. Because I've heard conversations here in Philadelphia with some of these men that brag on the fact that they spend more time with their current woman's children than they do their own. How fucked up is that? Then you take these baby daddy bucks out of it. The women they choose to have these kids with, they're loose. They're disgusting. They're ungodly. They don't care what they do in front of these children. They haven't, especially since the internet blew up. They're so proud of their debauchery, they put it online. And you niggas sit back and say, it's sad that these kids are shooting up the buses and things. It ain't sad. It ain't sad. It's you niggas. It's you African Americans. Because like I just watched this still with the incomparable great Smokey Robinson. He said the same thing I'd say. I don't like being called an African American. I ain't no African. I was born in New England. This is my country. This is my home. My grandfathers fought for this country. My father fought for this country. And I'll be fucked if I'll be a second-class citizen. But you African Americans... You've gotten yourself in this predicament where you're not going to be able to blame anyone else. We are in a climate where I know on YouTube, I posted to different videos about these shitty mothers and talking about blaming these parents. And YouTube will take that shit down. And it isn't just me. You niggas don't see that you're a part of a setup. And you keep it going because you won't clean up your own backyard. And I know for people like me, as I told the black lady yesterday talking about a village, I don't want to hear it. I don't want to hear it. Because women like me, I don't have a dog in the fight. I don't have children. I don't have a ring. See, I know marriage with black women and black men online is becoming this idea. But I always said, when I was in my 20s, no babies, no ring. That's what my late mother taught me way when I was like 12, 13 in the early 90s. Now y'all play around with marriage. Marriage has become a flick online, much like parenthood. Most of you baby mamas, I'll give it to you, may get a ring, but you'll never be a wife. Your mothers weren't wives. Hell, for some of you my age, your grandmothers weren't wives. Your grandmothers were welfare recipients. The government was your grandfather and father. That's not where I'm coming from. I told you in one video, and I meant this, I don't even deal with black men right now. And let me say this, I'll never get up on here and talk about how any other group of men is better than black men. And not so much for you niggas walking around now. Because if I was to do that, that's a disservice to my late father and grandfathers and some of my late uncles. Because they were hardworking men. Not perfect men. No, not perfect men. Different male members of my family had drug addictions. They got into physical altercations with some of my aunts, my mom. But that wasn't none of my business because I was a kid. You feel what I'm saying? You feel what I'm saying? Kids haven't been taught like I was taught to keep a kid, stay in a kid's place. I would never get up here and talk about a white man being better than any of the men I grew up with. However, I will say this. White people have not lost grandly the structures of their families. Most white women still got that hard head leading your door. Black women, y'all so stupid. Y'all decided to sell that shit off to the government. And may I add, for cheap. Like a lot of you bitches walking around here with your leggings and Crocs. You're cheap. You're loose. You're bad mothers. And no one can say it. Even though all this bad motherhood, whether you black people, you African Americans want to accept this or not, your choices just don't impact you. It impacts women like me, young women that get it because I meet them all the time, older women that have always gotten it. You all's your bonehead loose choices impacts us all. Now, I'm not a saint. I've done my thing. You know, I've been in my 20s and 30s before. I get it. But when it comes to babies and bringing in the next generations, that's serious business. And I've said it on another video and I'll say it again. You niggas always talking about the slaves and trying to throw slavery up in everyone's goddamn face. You're a fucking, you bring shame to the slaves. Because far more than any other culture in this country, Black Americans should hold family and how we do our families closer to our heart than any amount of money. Because a family unit can combat a lot of shit. How do you think the Jim Crow niggas made it? Jim Crow just ended in like 1965. My parents were born under Jim Crow. 1964 and 1965. That wasn't that long ago. And how is it that them Jim Crow niggas have families that were intact? Both my parents had their parents. A lot of people that are now in their late 60s or mid 60s had their parents. And their parents, my grandparents' generation, were Jim Crow. Now you all, after the civil rights movement, my parents' generation and down, y'all can't keep families intact. You're so wild and nasty, no one wants to be around you. Very few people. No one wants to live in your communities, if you can call this shit a community. No one wants to send their kids to your schools. Only thing they look at black people in this nation right now is entertainment. And that's problematic because the Negroes from this country, we come from an awesome lineage. Awesome lineage. So much so these other nations, and I'm not going to get into it on this video, they're jealous of our lineage. And you guys, like I said in my Diddy video, y'all talk about these celebrities selling their soul. Guess what, African Americans? Most of you sold yours. And not just yours, the generations to come. It bothers me that there are black kids walking around here now and in the last 20 years that think it's normal to just have a mother that has 6 fucking fathers for her kids. I've thought about this and I mean this, and someone can leave this in my comment section because y'all are smart people on the internet, How the fuck do most black people do family trees these days? Last night I was laying in bed, I couldn't sleep, and I don't know why, I started thinking about elementary school. And my second grade teacher, second or third grade, we had to do a family tree. A family tree. I don't know if they still teach that in schools. How do most black people, African Americans, how do y'all do family trees? If all your kids, and I'll use a woman for example, because I met women like this. If you got 6 kids and they all got different fathers, how do you do a family tree? How? Same thing with the men. I just met a guy maybe 3 months ago. And I said, I'm done with these Negroes. I can't deal with it. I'm not that kind of woman. Well, I met this guy. He was all right looking, nice enough, or whatever. He was 45. That means he was born in 1978. This motherfucker has 6 kids. Now, that's fine. He's in his 40s. That's nothing. That's not a big deal. My dad had 6 kids between 2 wives. That's not the kicker. All his kids were by different women, and his last 2 kids were, as he told me, by friends. This motherfucker had a 25-year-old or 26, somewhere in there, and like a 1-year-old and a 6-month-old. What the fuck I'm supposed to do with that? Because you men, see, like I said, you got it fucked up. Most of you didn't have dads, so let me tell you what my dad taught me. After a certain number of kids, a real woman isn't going to want to deal with you. I know I don't deal with niggas with a bunch of kids no more. I've been there, done that, tried. It doesn't work. Because I need to come first. Like a woman should come first in a man's life and vice versa. And you'll never come first if you're dealing with a man that has 4, 5, 6, sometimes more baby mamas. Couple that with this egotistical, I'm a king, and I get to dictate what's feminine and masculine. Meanwhile, I'm asking to borrow your car or borrow money or whatever your vice is. Because that's a lot of these men. They stomp around talking about their kings or wear king shirts, but gotta borrow money from their woman. What the fuck am I supposed to do with you niggas out here? Same thing. I feel bad for the black men on the opposite side with these women. I really do. I really do. And there's some of us, I never envisioned stepping out of my race to make a family. Because once upon a time, my sisters and I, we have a very tragic backstory. Most of the time I don't speak about my background because I always feel like it's so depressing to others. My sisters and I didn't have an easy ride like a lot of people haven't had an easy ride. So when it comes to me, Rochelle, I have to always think what's best for any children I bring into this world. And having a nuclear family is one of those things. Maybe y'all's kids don't deserve it, but my kids do. And if I never have kids, I'd rather die with my dad's last name than to ever be someone's baby mama. It's detrimental. It's selfish. And this is why we have 16-year-old boys with automatic guns, if they don't build them themselves, shooting up buses in Philadelphia. And it's not just Philadelphia. Chicago, Los Angeles, New York City, Miami's gotten so fucking bad they don't want you niggas going to Miami for spring break. Now the news won't say it, but it's because of you niggas. And the sad thing about spring break, in the last several years, most of you niggas ain't even in college. You just go down to Florida and wreck shop. Spring break is for college students. Not your old 30-year-old ass trying to be a hot girl at 35 years fucking old. You should be somewhere with your fucking children, not on spring break, ruining Miami. Shout out to Miami because, you know, I've had it with that bullshit. I'm sick of seeing the footage of you bitches bent over on cars and a lot of you are mothers. And most of you niggas, I'm black. I'm not a white person. You can't sell me. Most of y'all can't even read. Most of y'all couldn't get through high school, let alone college. So what the fuck are you at spring break for? Like I said, for me, there will be no village. There'll be none of that shit. Since my father's passing in 2020, I'm not as I don't want to use the word nice, but I don't look at things the same way. Anything that you guys get as a group, you deserve. And there's not going to be a fucking person or entity that can save you from your own doing. My heart goes out to those people that got shot on that bus. I ride the bus a lot, and I'm not even going to lie to you guys. I pulled back off riding buses in the last few weeks. Because I don't want to be on a bus and get shot up by one of your kids that never do anything. And it's the teachers, it's the old people, it's white people, it's law enforcement, it's everybody the fuck else except you lacking ass parents. And if you really cared about your children, you would have them in a structured household to some degree. Like I said, I'll bet you dollars to donuts in these 4 Philly shootings, all those kids that grab guns, if I take a book from the encyclopedia and sit it in front of them, most of them can't even read to their grade level. And that's another thing going on in the black community. It don't seem to be a problem with you guys. Your kids can't read. They can't do math. They can't do science. And a lot of you don't have a problem with this. Y'all, the first thing that comes out is, well, white people. And this is no salt on white people. And this is an attack on white people. But I don't give a fuck what white people are doing. It's like I heard it. While y'all worried about what white people and Asian people and all of them are doing, they worried about their kids and their communities, how good the schools are, how clean their streets are, and all that good shit. While y'all worried about them, who the fuck is worrying about niggas? Because if y'all ain't gonna worry about yourselves, why should they? I can't be mad at other groups for wanting the best for their offspring and y'all don't. And I can tell you don't. Look at these young people. Look at our young people today. I can't even tell the grown women from the girls because y'all, and for fuck's sake, the leggings and Crocs, the idiot shoes and leggings. And now y'all are getting so lazy. I was on the bus the other morning. It was early morning watching kids go to school. Some of these kids are actually going out to school in pajamas. But since 2024, I'm seeing grown people walking around in flannel pajamas. Are you people that lazy and trifling you won't even put on a pair of sweatpants to go run business in a day? That's what you're teaching these children? That's acceptable to get out of bed looking like you just woke up in some fucking pajamas. But then again, with a lot of you bitches, and I won't say nothing about the men because we all know you bucks aren't there to check your kids, to check up on them. You bitches can let your daughters go out in leggings, short shirts, and fucking idiot shoes, aka Crocs or pajamas. And can call yourselves good mothers. Well, guess what? I'll never call you a good mother. There's not a force on this fucking planet that can make me call y'all good parents. I don't care how much YouTube pulls me down, when people say, there's no one out here that can make me say most of y'all are good parents. Because I'm going to end it like this. Good parenting speaks for itself. You want to see how good fruit is? You look at that tree, like the good book says. And a lot of you trees out here are rotten to the fucking core. Rotten to your roots. So don't you dare be surprised that your fruit is rotten. And on that note, guys, I'm going to get out of here. Enjoy your Saturday if I don't do any other videos. And again, thank you to those new subscribers. I still got to get monetized, but ASU's been kicking my butt a little bit, guys. But I'll share that in another video. I'm Rochelle Tanner. I'm out.